Welcome in, race fans, to another Tuesday night right here on the Royalty Racing Network, where we have the Top Tier Racing League Gen 4 Cup Series sponsored by Tricia's Learning Center. I'll be your host tonight. Go by the name of Brandon Massey. I want to say welcome in. We are in week 17 of Tricia's Learning Center Gen 4 Cup Series. And tonight, we're going to be at one of the most iconic yet toughest racetracks that these drivers have seen on the schedule. Tonight, we're going to be live from the virtual Road America. We have reached the final stretch of the season. Every point matters as these drivers are chasing a championship here in the Gen 4 Series. With just 3 races remaining after tonight, we're going to be headed to Charlotte, Bristol, and then a championship finale at Las Vegas. And you can see next week we'll be at Charlotte, and then we're going to go to Bristol on 11-11, and then 11-18 we're going to finish out at Las Vegas. And I tell you, it's been a fun back half of the schedule watching these drivers as they are in their qualifying attempts right now, but it has been a fun half of the back half of the schedule. As you can see on track right now is last week's winner, Brock Morris. He powered his way to victory lane, picking up his first oval win here in the Top Tier Racing League. And after a flawless drive that he had, he is back here looking to go back to back. We know his dominance and what he can do on road courses. In fact, he was the fastest in practice here tonight. Excuse me. Dylan Canova finished second, keeping his points lead alive. Christian Proctor rounded out the podium with another consistent top 3 finish. Jacob Wilson, Matt Baines rounded out the top 5. Nick Raffini, Nick Baum, Jeremy Gill, Jorge Ledesma Jr., Robert Altman completing the top 10. Chad, race fans, I can't talk tonight. The performance did shake up the standings just a little bit headed into tonight's road course challenge. Dylan Canova does continue to lead the way for Hyperspeed Motorsports. His point lead right now, or not point lead, but he does have 2,063 points. But Christian Proctor, Nick Raffini is right on his bumper. You can see on the screen, respectively, at 2,051 points and 2,041 points. Kenny Kuko, Matt Baines, Jorge Ledesma Jr., they're all still in the fight, but at this stage of the season, one mistake here at Road America could swing the championship in a heartbeat. Road America is a 4-mile challenge, 14 corners, long straights, brutal braking zones, and elevation changes that test every bit of throttle control that the drivers may have. And I can tell you, for the race fans at home, I've been sitting here watching, and throttle control and a lot of these elevation changes is going to be something that we're going to have fun watching tonight. It's not about speed tonight, though. It is about discipline. It is about patience, and it is about staying out of trouble. And we're going to pull up the race info just so you race fans at home can see. Right there is the racetrack. Right now, it is 70 degrees outside, 33% relative humidity, partly cloudy. The track temp, though, the track temp's kind of warm. 96 degrees is the track temperature right now. But that is the 14-corner Road America that we have known to come and love. I absolutely love watching this race on TV. I enjoy, to be honest, I enjoy road racing. I just don't get to do it often. As you can see, last week's race winner is out here making a qualifying attempt right now. So the margin of error is going for these drivers. The pressure is on, and the road to the title tightens tonight here in Elkhart Lake, where Road America is located. So it's going to be a fun and wild night. For the race fans at home, let me know who you are pulling for. I can always count on Rachel being here, rooting on JD Van Kirk. JD actually had a pretty stellar practice. He was 6th, I believe, in practice. And so we're gonna keep an eye on these drivers tonight, because it's gonna be a matter of, really truthfully, Christian Proctor has actually, we know in talking to him last week, he was really excited about coming to Road America. He in fact, I believe he was the one that had told me, had it not been for Brock Morris, he would probably win a lot more road races. So he's definitely looking forward to being here tonight. I can tell you Nick Raffini has been fast as well throughout the practice session. So we're going to keep an eye on him. But Kenny Kuko very quickly jumps up to P2 right now. You can see that elevation change right there. For the race fans at home, that elevation change, we're going to see a lot of heavy brakes. You can see the brake rotors glow on these race cars. I can tell you something else that I've seen. I've seen a lot of gravel laying on the racetrack. So that's something that we're going to want to keep an eye on. But Kenny Kuko currently right now goes to P2. JD Van Kirk, we was just talking about him. He was 6th quick in practice. Right now he is 5th quick on the qualifying board. David Shively out. All these drivers is out on the racetrack laying down times as we speak. I tell you, I look forward to Tuesday night, race fans. I really do. I look forward to Tuesday night to come in here and hang out with you all. For the race fans at home, get to call these races. I know for the race fans at home, you're probably thinking, Brandon, how do you do it every week? You come in and you do these by yourself. I try to provide you all as much information as I possibly can. And I can tell you, we've got an amazing points battle. Again, let's go back to that points battle. I mean, there's only 12 points that separate Dylan Canova and Christian Proctor. And in fact, we have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 drivers signed in right now as we speak. And with this racetrack, if Dylan has any trouble at all, and Christian Proctor right now is atop the speed chart, if he has any trouble at all, that could completely change the way that the points is playing out, going with 3 races left. So again, right there, 12 points separates first and second. But then you can see Nick Raffini, Kenny Kuko, they're tied right now, and they're only 22 points behind Dylan Canova. So they're going to have to get to work with only 3 races remaining after tonight. But tonight's the wild card. I said this going into the championship run, that this was going to be the wild card race, and I really think that it will be. And then you can see you got Matt Baines, Jorge Ledesma Jr. The race fans at home love JD Van Kirk. He's currently 7th in points. Jake Raven, Robert Altman, Nick Baum, Zach White, and David Shively. That is your top 12. That's your championship 12 right there. Brock Morris actually jumped to the top of the leaderboard in qualifying. And we have 2 still on the track. And right there, you can see some of the gravel laying on the racetrack right there. And that's something that I'm going to keep an eye on throughout the night, because that's going to be very important. These hot tires getting hot, tacky, picking up those gravels. Gonna have to give it time to get those gravels off there. So if you're in a heavy braking zone, that could play dividend in how that turn works out for these drivers. There's the heavy brake glow. Look at that. There is tons of gravel laying right here in this section of the racetrack. You can see, I don't know if for the race fans at home, you should be able to. You can see the gravel just flying off these race cars, off these tires. And as they peak, this is the long straightaway. This is what we'll call the long front straightaway. As these drivers peak right here, the car unloads in that elevation change. And I've seen a lot of cars really want to get out of shape right there. Jake Raven will go to 7th. And I believe that will in qualifying. I see nobody else out there right at the moment. So that being the case, I'm going to be safe in saying Brock Morris will lead the field to the green. Christian Proctor, Jacob Wilson, Kenny Kuko, Nick Raffini, Matt Baines, Jake Raven, Dylan Canova, JD Van Kirk, Nick Baum, and David Shively. Davis Shively, rather. Only 2 drivers haven't taken times. It's going to be Robert Altman and Jorge Ledesma Jr. Those are the 2 drivers. And in fact, right there, you can see on the screen, qualifying is over. So they'll go into their drivers' meeting and conversate there. And while they're doing that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back here as round number 2 of the chase for the championship continues at Road America. I don't know for the race fans at home if you was able to see what I seen, but those drivers are having a lot of fun out there. As far as I know, there's no drivers mad at any drivers. They're just having a good time out there. So 2.5 minutes and we're going to get this race underway. And I'm telling you, I'm excited about this one tonight. I think we know for sure that Brock's going to be fast, right? But anybody can make a mistake in any given time. And I'm not wishing that on anybody, but Christian has showed speed. We know Nick Raffini had speed in practice. JD Van Kirk had speed in practice. So I'm anxious to get this race started. I want to see, within the first, 5 laps, who's going to be able to save their tires, who's not going to burn the back ends off, the rears off. A lot of gravel laying in this section. I know I've talked about that once already, but you can see the gravel just flying off the back of that race car. Even to the entry to pit road has a lot of gravel in it, so it's going to be interesting to see how everything shakes out tonight, though. Our points leader currently. Oh, they just full sent him. Oh Lord. That's wild, viewers. I just want y'all to know that. Oh, that's wild. All these drivers are going to be happy to know that got caught on the broadcast. I just want y'all to know. And the fact that it made me laugh like it did. I mean, they just full sent that corner. 25 laps tonight. About an average of 2 minutes. somewhere between 2 minutes and 15 seconds to about 2 minutes and 35, 40 seconds. There goes Christian. He's full sending it. He tagged. He tagged somebody. Let's see if Robert does it. Checkered flags out. I don't think he's going to have time. He might full send it, though, with the checkered out. There he goes. Yeah, he was going to. Oh, my. That's awesome stuff. Let's take a look at tonight's starting grid. On pole is going to be the driver of the 05, last week's winner. It's going to be Brock Morris. Starting outside pole is going to be the driver, the number 13, currently second in points. It's going to be Christian Proctor. Starting third, driver, the number 51. Out of the revved up racing camp, it's going to be Jacob Wilson. Starting fourth, driving the number 71. It's going to be Kenny Kuko. Starting fifth, driving the number 04 is going to be Nick Raffini. Starting sixth, driving the number 72 is going to be Matt Baines. Starting seventh, driving the number 37 is going to be Jake Raven. Starting eighth, the current points leader, driving the number 70 is going to be Dylan Canova. Starting ninth, the driver, the number 22, a fan favorite out home, is going to be JD Van Kirk. Starting 10th, driver, the number 1 out of a Hyperspeed Motorsports camp, it's going to be Nick Baum. Starting 11th, driving the number 85 is going to be Davis Shively. Starting 12th, driver, the number 44, Jorge Ledesma Jr. And rounding out the 13-car field, driver of the number 94 is going to be Robert Altman Jr. Or Robert Altman, sorry, no junior, Robert Altman. And that will be tonight's starting grid. You can see the lights is out on the iRacing pace car. So once these drivers get all the way back around here, again, this racetrack is 4 miles in length. So once these drivers get all the way back around here, they will be taking the green flag. Brock Morris, Christian Proctor, Jacob Wilson, Kenny Kuko. Kenny's looking to he's looking to bounce back. Last week, I got to talk to him just a little bit after the Michigan race and kind of dissect what happened with his accident. And he told me, he said, man, it was just a bonehead move. He said, I was just trying to make up time and just the car stepped out on me. And yeah, he's just trying to eliminate mistakes tonight. Have a solid finish, trying to make up some of the points. He was second going into that race. But Kenny's been a cool guy for me to talk to. I've got to spend a little bit of time in the Discord conversating with him and talking about future plans for here at Top Tier and those types of things. And it's been a super cool dude. Drafty as well. Drafty's not signed in. He's not raced for the last couple of weeks. I think he's just taking some personal time off. So Drafty, we hope to see you back on the racetrack again soon. But he's been a big help to me and some of the issues that I had early on. We've since got all those squared away, so we're looking forward to bringing you race fans a lot more coverage here at the Top Tier Racing League. I bet these pace flaps feel so long for these drivers. Again, race fans, I'm going to be messing with the sound all night long, because that camera angles that we have, it's just going to rock the ears off of you. So I'm going to keep on working on the sound of the race cars. That way it doesn't overpower me. Look at the gravels just flying. You see those? You could just see the gravels flying. It's absolutely awesome. I tell you, Brock was excited last week for the race fans at home. Got that first career oval win. The iRacing pace car should take the right-hand turn right here. And he does, and that means that's going to turn the control over to last week's race winner, Michigan. Buckle up. It's week 17 of Tricia's Learning Center Gen 4 Cup Series. The champ run rolls on from Road America. Let's go racing. Green flag is out. Now, Road America. Most of everybody does a really good job getting through that first corner. You can see we're going to get an aerial shot of these cars. Right now, this is going to be a really good camera angle for us to have. Right now, Christian Proctor, Jacob Wilson, all in tow. Uh-oh. Raffini, where you going? Dylan Canova. Barely escapes out of that situation. That could have been a complete game changer for Dylan. Right now, Dylan running in the 10th position. Christian Proctor currently in the 2nd position. No, they are only separated by a mere 12 points in this championship battle. Dylan, and talking to him last night after his second place last week, talking about his second place finish when we interviewed him at Michigan, talked about just coming into Road America and eliminating mistakes, just trying to get through this race and survive. He feels like that the rest of the schedule he'll perform really well at. He's in there hot. Uh-oh. That's not what you want to see for the Dylan Canova fans at home. I can tell you that. Again, he said he just wanted to eliminate mistakes. He made a couple of them early right there. He feels like he can win Charlotte, Bristol, and Las Vegas. So he's looking to get through this one and then head out. Brock Morris, though, shows the way. You can see Christian Proctor right there in tow. Jacob, Kenny Kuko right behind him. JD Van Kirk is up right now for the race fans at home, and I know there's some JD fans at home right now. He's our biggest mover race fans. I don't want to give him the commentary curse. He's up 4 spots, currently riding in the 5th position. Nick Raffini, the 0-4. Nick Baum, teammates right here. Nick Baum, Jake Raven. I believe they're both out of the Hyperspeed Motorsports camp. Davis Shively, Jorge Ledesma Jr. There comes Dylan Canova. He's trying to claw his way back through. In fact, uh-oh, some contact made. He tried to clear the 44, just wasn't clear. I guess we're going to have to stay off Dylan. He must know that we're watching him. That's heavy trouble, though, for the championship point leader right now. I mean, we still got 24 laps to go. Let me tell you, though, 24 laps here at this racetrack is, I mean, we only had 25 for the entire event. But we're coming to 23 to go. And let me tell you something. 4 miles around this place, 14 corners. It's just absolutely insane. We know Brock is just going to be out here doing his thing. I'm going to take you on board with one of these drivers here. In fact, Brock Morris just laid down the fastest lap of the race, 2 minutes, 10 seconds. So 2 minutes, 10 seconds to log 4 miles. Maybe there's a race fan at home can tell me what that averages out to be top speed wise. That'd be wild. That looked like it was fun. Raven also sent a quick clip of him sending it earlier in that spot when he was practicing. Yeah, these drivers are just having a lot of fun. They were just having a lot of fun. So it's exciting to know that these guys are having fun. You know, we get to the latter part of these seasons like this, you know, to still have 13, 15 drivers sign in every night is a very rewarding thing, just because a lot of times, a lot of drivers that doesn't make the top 12, if they have a playoff run, whatever, a lot of those guys will go off, race somewhere else, and then come back when the new season starts. And good to see a lot of this field still showing up and racing and having a good time. A lot of these guys have raced each other. I've been calling these races for, I don't know, 6 weeks now, 7 weeks, however long it's been for the race fans at home, and all these drivers seem to know each other pretty well. They spend a lot of time on the racetrack with each other. JD is slowly making up time on the 2 cars in front of him. This is exciting to see. I'm going to keep moving. I don't want to give anybody the commentator curse because I've already done that. I feel like I've done that to Dylan Canova already. Brock's out to what? Almost a 4-second lead, give or take. Trying to find the closest battle that we have, and right now, uh-oh, I wonder what happened to JD. See, that's what I'm saying. Tonight seems to be the night of the commentator's curse, because I give someone props and then something happens. I'm trying to find us a good battle. Yeah, Kenny was on the back of the 51. Something happened to him. Dylan's looking to get around the 71 here. Or sorry, 72 rather, of Matt Baines. That's a really cool shot when you can see those brake rotors glow like that. It's one of the coolest parts about calling road course races. Even short tracks. Tracks like Martinsville, Richmond, especially under the lights. You can see those brake rotors on those race cars glow really well. It's one of the closest battles that we have right now on the racetrack. I can tell you a lot of these drivers have spent a lot of time practicing throughout the week. I kind of expected a little bit more mayhem out here tonight with a racetrack as technical as this one. A few little incidents early, but everybody's pretty much kind of settled in. So move Dylan up to 9th right now. That brake rotor glow on the 85 there of Davis Shively. I don't know. That's such a cool look. Brock Morris gets back around to the start finish line, we'll go on board. We'll check out an entire lap around this facility. It is a beautiful place. I enjoy watching these races on TV when they have them. The Cup Series ran here, I believe, a few times. I know. In fact, the Xfinity Series did. Did for the race fans at home? Correct me if I'm wrong. Did the Cup Series not race here? I believe they did a couple years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. For the race fans at home, maybe you can tell me. I'm certain that the Cup Series raced here 3 or 4 years ago, and I think that it was replaced by, I don't want to say the Chicago Street Course, but maybe oh gosh, it's that one down in Texas, Coda, maybe. All right, let's go on board with our current race leader, Brock Morris, and we'll have him to take us around. This is a very high speed zone right here. A heavy braking zone, especially into that downhill right there. Get the car straightened back out, throttle up. A long sweeping corner there. That was an interesting downshift right there, but I noticed what he did. That was... a lot of gravel laying in that zone. Most of that's been cleared out. Just the work that he's doing. He's going to be tired. These drivers, all these drivers are going to be tired once they're done here tonight. You can see just how much work that it goes into. Nick Ruffini has since got past Kenny Kuko. So move him into fourth. Kenny back to fifth. There comes JD Van Kurt. Now we've got a whole gaggle of cars here. Matt Baines has somehow found himself back around Dylan Canova. So I don't know if maybe Dylan had some trouble. It's a pretty good battle here between Matt Baines and Nick Baum, though. Let's see if Matt tries to outbreak him. Oh, Jorge's off track back here. Let's go back to this battle. This is a pretty good 3-car battle we have going on right here. That was Jake Raven we seen back there. He's somewhere over here. Where's he at? There he is. Look at that, just covering the racetrack in gravel through there. A lot of gravel being tossed around. I'm going to check the comments. Nope, nobody has fact checked me on when the NASCAR Cup Series ran here. At least if they have, I haven't seen it come up in the comments. This is a really good battle between these three cars right here. I would imagine out of 14 corners, at least 40% of them would be passing zones, right? I mean, these are two very crucial spots if you're the points leader right now. He's got a heck of a run. Is he going to try to outbreak him here? He is. Very clean, though. Little loose on the exit there for the 72. Doesn't really hurt his drive off. Again, you can see the teal collared spoilers and windshield banners across the race cars. Not all championship drivers have them. Matt is one of the championship 12, I do believe. Kenny has caught back up to Nick Raffini, so JD is slowly rolling them guys in. We'll keep an eye on both of these battles. So right now we got a couple battles going on. Kenny is within a couple of tenths of Nick right now. Or sorry, Kuko. Yeah, Kenny. Uh-oh, Kenny, you got to get her back. There you go. Uh-oh. Let's see what happens to Nick here. Heavy braking zone. You can see the front end of that race car nose over. Goes into the corner. I just kind of cooked the entry a little bit. No harm, no foul. You see, lost a little bit of time, but nothing too major. Still, Dylan and Matt is one of the closest battles that we have. Raffini and Kuko has been a pretty close battle too. It's about 7/10 off of him. Right now, the closest battle is between Dylan Canova and Matt Baines. Kenny not able to put anything together through those set of corners. A lot of gravel in that portion of the racetrack. So no change out front. Brock has led them all up to this point. Just completed what would be the 8th lap, now working 9. So we're quickly approaching the halfway point of this race. Again, once we hit lap 12, 13 area, we'll be about the halfway point, just a little past. So no change out front for Brock. He's just doing his thing. Christian, very solid run, doing everything he needs to do for this championship battle right now. Currently holds a handful of spots over top of Dylan Canova. You can see Jacob Wilson. There he comes. Very solidly inside the top 5 right now. Nick Raffini, Kenny Kuko, 4th and 5th. Matt Baines, Dylan Canova still throwing them at each other here. Nick Baum was a part of that battle a couple of laps ago. Jake Raven. Davis Shively. Robert Altman. Jorge. I'm showing Dylan. Something happened to Dylan. I'm not 100% sure. And there it was. And then also, too, something happened to JD. And I'm not 100% sure what happened to JD. I never got a notification that something happened to JD. So Nick Baum has got around. There's JD. He's got all the fenders on the car. I don't know what happened. Someone at home, let me know what happened to JD by chance. I'm not 100% sure. If you know, let me know. I'm not sure what happened to JD there. So Nick's been able to put a little bit of distance. Nick Raffini, rather, has been able to put a little bit of distance between himself, Kenny Kuko, Matt Baines, Nick Baum, Dylan with that incident that he had. Davis has since lost the front end of his race car. And it looks like that he has some major left front damage now. I don't know if that's a iRacing glitch or not, but it don't look like that car is turning at all. Looks like he does have some heavy damage on the front of that race car. Something happened with Nick Raffini here. Let's see if we can catch it. Here comes Nick. In a heavy braking zone. Looks like he started braking early enough. Maybe just started to throttle it up. Maybe a little too soon. Just didn't have no harm, no foul. Kenny's going to get around him there, though. No harm, no foul. Just a little bit of track position loss, nothing major. The Halloween edition of the Hello Kitty car for Christian Proctor. As this race continues to play out and these drivers continue to get more and more separated, it's going to be hard for Dylan to make up any time on some of these drivers. Davis is still out there. Robert Altman's bringing her to pit road. That means that tells me at least pit road could be opening for a lot of these drivers. We're approaching the halfway point right now. We are at 13 to go. Brock has just passed the start finish line. And just like that, Nick Ruffini has gotten himself back around Kenny Kuko. We'll take a look at that pass, see just exactly how he did it. Oh, Kenny's out there in the gravel. A lot of gravel. Again, that's where a lot of that gravel's been laying all night long. So let's see when Brock Morris elects to come to pit road. Again, we are about the halfway point of tonight's event. Handful of turns, and he'll be back at the right around the start finish line. Jacob has been running down Christian Proctor the last handful of laps. It was about a 5-second separation. Brock's now on pit road. It was about a 5-second separation between those two. Christian's coming to pit road. So is Jacob Wilson. So Brock, Christian, Jacob all coming to pit road. Let's see if Nick Ruffini and company decides to come. Because you would have Ruffini, Kuko. Those two are right here together. And then just right behind them is going to be Matt Baines, Dylan Canova. Dylan has started to run down the 72. Yeah, Kenny's on pit road along with Nick Ruffini. Let's see if these guys elect to come to pit. They should be right there at it. Yeah, and there comes Matt. And there comes Dylan. So there comes Nick Baum. So virtually Matching times for Christian Proctor and Jacob Wilson getting on and off pit road. Jacob has actually been able to make up a little bit of time. What was right around 3.5-ish or so seconds when those pit cycles started has since gotten under 3 seconds, but now very quickly back up to 3 after that little off-road incident for Jacob back there. So Robert Altman's over in here. He's trying to get it back on the racetrack. There he comes. I was trying to get a good shot of his tires. I don't think I'm going to be able to. There we go. We'll have to remember that. So Dylan has gotten around Matt Bain, so move him up to now 6th. Nice save there. Nick found the gravels over there. No, that left front still looks crooked. I missed it too. I'm not sure what happened to JD there. Why he was sitting on pit road. He didn't have any damage, and I never got a notification that he wrecked or anything. I'll find out after the race. I don't want to blow him up here in the middle of a race, but after the race, I'll find out. So Christian has got out to about 3.5 seconds over top of Jacob Wilson. So no worries there. Nick Raffini has put a little bit of distance between himself and Kenny Kuko. That distance is about 2 seconds. Dylan's still right around Matt Baines right here. This is the closest battle on the racetrack as it is. Just under 3/4 of a second to a second between these two. That was interesting. Not sure why that notification popped up right in the middle of the broadcast. Gotta love Steam notifications, though. I tell you, Christian is matching lap times with the race leader right now, but he is some 20 seconds behind him. The Brock's probably going to have to make a disastrous mistake. This battle's starting to heat up. This battle is still heating up. Dylan actually got around Matt right here. Oh, he's been in front of him. But that battle's starting to heat up, and so is this one. So we'll keep an eye on these two battles. Right now, Brock Morris, Christian Proctor, Jacob Wilson, Nick Raffini, Kenny Kuko. That's going to be the top 5. Dylan Canova, Matt Baines, Nick Baum, Davis Shively, J.D. Van Kirk's going to be 6th through 10th. Jorge Ledesma Jr., Jake Raven, Robert Altman. Oh, look like Kenny got a really good run through here. Kenny did, in fact, he got a really good run off that corner. And there it is. Nick overcooks it. That's going to allow Kenny to get by. We'll check up on Matt and Dylan back here. Feel like these guys has been around each other about all night long. The man that has showed the way for the entire, what will be, is it now 15? 16 laps, give or take. It's going to be a lap car in front of Christian. He's going to try to get around here. Some 12 seconds in front of Dylan is Nick Raffini. You can see here is Nick. Dylan's back here. Matt still ain't letting him go, though. Dylan's better in some portions of the racetrack. Matt's better in others. And remember, race fans, next week, again, we're going to be heading to Charlotte. And then after that, we're going to be heading to Bristol. I think Bristol is going to be a fun race. These Gen 4 cars on Bristol is going to be a lot of fun to watch. And then we're going to end the season at Las Vegas. So the 1.5 miles, the half mile, and then back to the 1.5 miles to finish out. That's going to be a fun portion to end this thing and crown ourselves a champion. So no change out front. Brock Morris has led them all.
Yes, sir. I got you. Well, Brock is just in another zip code on these road courses. But I think I had something a little bit something for Christian, but I made a little bit of a mistake after the pit stop. After the pit stop, I'd gotten within like 3 or 4 seconds, um, and I was kind of maintaining there. So I was just kind of hoping that maybe he would. I was hoping I could get close enough where maybe he would make a mistake and I could get by him. But he hit his marks and was pretty consistent there. And then once I kind of saw that I wasn't going to catch him, I didn't want to risk going off track or tearing the car up. So I just kind of backed off a little bit. I had a big gap back to fourth, and so I just kind of took care of myself there just to bring home the third place. But um, I've worked pretty hard over the last year on these road courses to get more competitive, and um, it's kind of showed off here in top tier. Chicago and Mid Ohio were kind of tough, but we were able to kind of shine through tonight. I'm pretty proud of the race tonight. Definitely Charlotte and Bristol are kind of circled for me. Those are some of my better tracks. Especially Bristol. I've had some races there that I probably should have won, but it just didn't play out like I needed it to. Um, Charlotte, I tend to be pretty consistent there and have decent speed. I'm looking forward to it being a little bit longer race. I think we're running 150 laps there instead of our normal 100 on a mile and a half, so that usually kind of plays into my favor. Um, just especially if we get some long runs, I'm usually pretty good on the longer runs, so. Definitely looking forward to that one. I think we probably should be in contention for a podium at Charlotte, and the same with Bristol. I expect to be top three there. If we're not, then it's a little bit disappointing. But Vegas is usually a tough track for me. I know it's kind of your standard mile and a half, but I tend to burn myself up there for some reason. But we'll see how it goes in this car. I haven't ran this car a lot. I kind of picked up the last few weeks you know, just trying to get back into the swing of oval and stock car stuff because I've been running a lot of IndyCar and sports cars over the summer and kind of early into the fall. So I'm just kind of getting back in the swing of that to really focus next year on top tier again. Because I ran here the first 3 seasons full time and came close to the championship a couple times. But we'll see if we can do that, get all the way to the top step next season. But it's been okay, but we'll see how it goes. Uh, Yeah, so I've got a bunch of people that help me out in my go kart racing, and I got them on my car in iRacing. So Circle W Farms, the No Names, Floors by Dennis, Victor Fuel. We have a discount code, so if you use Revved Up 51, you'll get 10% off your order there. Also, got to thank Brock for this beautiful car that he's painted for me this season. It's kind of a throwback to Darrell Waltrip, his last race that he ran in the Bush Series. So Corn Dog Designs, Brock Morris, who actually won the race tonight, he painted this car and a lot of our cars here at Revved Up. Um, and then just all my family friends that tune into these and support me in this racing, and then at my go kart races. So I couldn't do it without all those folks. All right, thank you, sir.
Yeah, you got me. Yeah, Dylan did really good tonight. Honestly, I was expecting him P5, P6, but he got a P4, so I'm happy for him. Yeah, I was looking forward to Road America. It was definitely a really fun car track combo. I will say later in the run, Canada Corner felt like you were driving on the beach more than anything. There was more rocks on the road than asphalt. But yeah, going into the day, kind of just I knew I'd be pretty quick. Jacob definitely surprised me on the road tonight. Wasn't expecting him to be as quick tonight, and kind of scared me a little bit. I thought he'd be a little closer to me during the race, and kind of put me on edge. But I started pulling away and kind of just focus on keeping the car on the track and keeping it straight. I think I'll do pretty decent at Charlotte. Bristol, I might get top five if I'm lucky. Um, but then Vegas, I should do pretty good. I'm good at the kind of medium ovals, but like the short ovals, I'm not the best at. Charlotte can kind of be a little bit of both. It's a quick track, but it's also kind of a smaller oval at the same time. So definitely a fun track, and just hope to keep the car alive, I guess, at going into Charlotte next week. I just want to thank the team like always. We help each other get better every week. Also want to thank JD and Shively for showing up every single week, helping out the team in points. And I know team can't always make it, and it's all right to miss a couple races here and there, but we all help each other in the end. That's what I'm thankful for. Thankful for the team. Appreciate it, man.
Yes, I do. How's it going? Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely. First, the plan kind of was just, Road America is a very high commitment track. So it wasn't going to be won just by setting, going for the fastest lap every single time. Like this track is not that, especially in a car like this. Maybe in like F4 it is, but it's just hitting your marks, doing the same thing every lap, and just paying attention to how the car evolves. Since on these long straightaways, if it's different than you're expecting it to be, you can have pretty disastrous consequences. But yeah, just started on the front row and just was hitting my marks all night. I was pretty happy with how the car was feeling. I think honestly, this car is probably one of my favorites right now on the ovals and the road courses. And yeah, I was just turning laps, not trying to push very hard because that could end my night. Mhm. Yes, sir, I am. I guess I I mean there's no reason in showing up if I don't think I can contend for a win and if I'm not gonna put my best foot forward to try and win. So at least that's sort of my expectation and my hope is that I win the rest of the season, which is very easy to say but hard to actually execute. So gonna be working hard on those over the next couple weeks. I've liked Charlotte in the past, liked Bristol in the past, got to work on Vegas. But yeah, I'm hoping to have some pretty good runs there as well. Got some momentum going for me. Yes, sir. Corn Dog Designs. You guys have heard the spiel. I make quite a few cars on this grid. More often than not, that end up in victory lane. It's not the reason, but there is a correlation. I got to thank Kettering Esports, Revved Up Racing. The guys there have been hanging out with them, and we'll continue to hang out with them for the next season. And got to shout out my mom and dad, and I also got to shout out my fan, Sarah. Oh yeah, I mean, I already got like 100% more than I had last week, so I am, you know, our growth is exponential. I'm very happy about it. All right, thank you.
I have been muted, and I apologize, but at least you all got to hear the interviews, and I apologize for that. So yeah, I feel like an idiot. I don't know how I got muted, but somehow I got muted, and so I apologize. But you got to hear the interviews and the responses, not necessarily the questions, and so I apologize for that. However, all these drivers, Brock says he's going to race the next 3 weeks, to finish out the season. Has won 2 in a row. Looking forward to getting to Charlotte. Christian also looking forward to get to Charlotte. Dylan also looking forward to get to Charlotte. Kenny Kuko, Matt Baines, Jorge Ledesma Jr., JD Vankirk. All these drivers looking to close the points gap going into next week at Charlotte. And when we get there, it's going to be a lot of fun. And that'll be it for me tonight. Again, I apologize that you didn't get to hear my questions, but you did get to hear the answers. I promise to be better at that next week when we roll into Charlotte. We'll see everybody next week. when we roll into Charlotte, and then we're going to go to Bristol, and then we'll finish out at Las Vegas. Everyone have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Tuesday night.